Hello, crafty friends. I'm Jessica, and here we turn blank canvases into handmade magic. So let's get started. So I recently found this footage when I began organizing all of my crafty videos for 2026. Yes, I took a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm hoping to be back in the new year. I've got my setup all complete. I've recently added a new laptop to my craft room, and so I'm hoping that moving forward, we've got all the tools here in my space to create content moving forward. My role at work is also kind of dialed back a little bit, so I'm hoping to see more of you in the future. So this is an oldie. I found this video, like I said, and really loved it and decided why not? Let's go ahead and turn it into a YouTube video for Christmas on Christmas because it's a Christmas card. So we're starting off with this really small stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. It is still available and it's linked below in the description. And I'm wanting to do this offset ombre coloring. So I went ahead and put down the trees first in the cabbage coloring, and then I went ahead and kind of figured out where I wanted to place that next line and drew a line to kind of guide me. I want them to be in between the trees, and you're going to see we're going to go from lightest to darkest. So I created a little bit of a guideline with a pencil that we'll end up removing here at the end, and then just slowly working through the math. It is not my strongest suit, so I'm actually very proud of myself for getting these trees somewhat lined up appropriately. So we're going to go ahead and finish with the artichoke color, just going ahead and loading up that stamp. These trios are my absolute favorite when it comes to greenery. I use them all the time for coloring die cuts, whenever I need to add some more depth to them, even when I'm using just colored cardstock. These are my go-tos for adding color to any kind of greenery. They are just the perfect color combination, and I just love using them. So now I'm going to go ahead with my crafty eraser, and we're going to go ahead and remove all of the pencil lines from this card front. And then I really wanted to call out one of the trees. So I'm going to go ahead and put this star, this is all in the same stamp set, on top of this one tree. And we want to just kind of draw your eye to that one. So that's kind of why I did that. I chose one in the middle of the card base there between, you know, the tree and everything. It's almost in the middle of the tree and the star. And then we're going to go ahead and work on the sentiment. So I went ahead and grabbed my mini Misty here, and we're going to go ahead and get it prepped for embossing ink. We're using Simon Says Stamp clear ink, and I apologize that I'm off camera, but just trying to make sure that I'm lined up. This is something in my craft room that I have mastered and moved forward with a good solution on making sure that I'm in frame. The other thing is you're going to see this ring light is very predominant in all of the shiny pieces that land on my craft space here, and I have changed that in our future videos, but this is an oldie and a goodie, a little throwback to the OG space, so bear with me as we move forward into the new craft room, or my new craft space. So we're going to go ahead and powder this up with Simon Says Stamp Antique Gold, one of my favorite gold embossing powders, and then we're going to go ahead and heat set it off camera and then cut it out here with a circle die. This is just one from my stash. I'm assuming it's probably one of my nested circle dies, and it just worked out perfectly to create this little medallion. I really love the way that this antique gold embossing powder has a little bit more warmth to it, so that's why I tend to reach for it more than something that's a little bit more brassy and gold tone. So this is me, I'm the fiddling queen. I'm just making sure I know exactly where I want it to go. And then we're gonna revisit that tree in just a minute. I went ahead and I cut this panel down a little bit. I apologize, I don't know exactly what I did, but I know I wanted to keep the height of the panel but trim the sides. So here you're going to see me kind of determine, is that enough white space around the edges, or do I want a little bit more? And I end up wanting a little bit more. I am a pivoter when it comes to crafting. I do not go into a card knowing exactly what I'm going to do, or if I do, it's very rare. It's something that definitely warps over time into something else as I'm creating. So I'm definitely a pivoter. This is Alta New. This is my favorite foam tape. It has the most beautiful loft. It is a little bit thicker. So for those individuals who are worried about sending these cards in the mail, you're going to want to use probably something a little bit of a thinner loft because this one is pretty thick. So I like to mention it is the best thing, I think, one of the best things that you can be done on a card. But like I said, it does create some issues when you're sending things in the mail. So be sure that you're aware of that. You're doing hand canceling or you're sending them in an alternate way in order to make sure they get there. My word of advice is just to take your cards to the post office and have a chat with them to make sure that you've got the appropriate postage on it. So to add a little bit more of a focal point, I went ahead and added the smallest gem in all of these Simon Says Stamp Dazzling Gem trio or trios. I pulled the smallest one, and we're just going to line them up like they're little Christmas ornaments or lights, whichever way you'd like to look at that. And I figure I almost have them ready, but then I decide that I didn't really enjoy the blue. So we're going to go ahead and remove the blue, and we're going to add this gold color to kind of give it just that more kind of warm feel to this card. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue everything down. Once I've taken my time to make sure that I have them exactly where I want them, we'll go ahead and add a little liquid glue and make sure that they're adhered. And that's it for the card today. Really enjoyed finding this little throwback into my card making process, and I'm glad that I could share it here with you today. I hope that you enjoyed it. May all of you be celebrating the way that you wish to celebrate, and I just want to say thanks for being here. Have a great day.